Witherbloom himself, holy shit. 8 mana, but he's got affinity for creatures. He's a 5/5 flying death toucher. Instant and sorcery spells you cast have affinity for creatures. Holy Jesus. Yeah. I want to play a Witherbloom the Balancer commander deck. I want to make a Witherbloom commander deck that's just all of the green and black stuff that makes tokens. Everything. And then the entire idea is Witherbloom comes down for like 2 mana on like turn 4. And then you just, every spell costs 1 less. Like, I don't know how many good token makers there are. There's got to be a bunch, right? Like, any spell that makes 2 tokens for, like, 3 or less mana is just crazy in a deck like that. I think this is my favorite card. I think this is my favorite card in the entire set. Probably not even the best dragon in the set, but it's my favorite card in the set. I want to make this a commander deck. Yeah, I want to make a commander deck out of this. I very rarely see a card and go, I want to do. We're gonna make a standard deck out of this, maybe. Can we make a standard deck out of this? Probably not. It's too expensive, right? And it doesn't do anything, and it just gets blown up or countered. I don't care. I want to do it anyway. I want to play all of the token makers, all of the cheap things and token makers, and then just this guy, and then giant X spells that just screw people over. I want to do it. I don't know if there's any good green and black X spells that make tokens, though. God, I like that card. Sorry, I'm just lost in my own mind of, like, I want to do stuff with this card. Green has a lot of changeling if commander. Well, the thing is, so the way I think you'd want it to work, right, is you have like cheap mana generators like Llanowar Elf, because the creature pays for this affinity and also you can tap it, which pays for another mana, right? Like Llanowar Elf, stuff like that, all these cheap things, and then a bunch of like cheap cards like stuff that makes, you know, 2/1/1 pests or 3/1/1 pests or changing tokens. Okay, yeah. But just stuff that makes like multiple things. The problem is the only big card I know is green-white. Zombies, exactly. Because like there's again, this is from Dragon Maze and this is years ago. Selesnya had a green and white X spell that was 1 green, 1 white, and X. It was instant speed. You could pay for it by tapping creatures, and it made X 1/1 human creature tokens with lifelink or whatever, right? Can't remember what the spell was called, but it was like, you know, you have like a bunch of creatures, and at the end of your opponent's turns, you tap all your creatures, tap all your mana. X is 15, I make 15 1/1s or something stupid, right? And I always liked that as a spell and an idea. Witherbloom just makes that go crazy, right? Same idea, but with affinity, right? So you play Witherbloom for cheap, and then if all of your creatures make mana, you tap them all, they reduce the spell's cost already by simply existing, and you play some giant mono, like black one, like 1 and X, and make like 30 zombies. And then the following turn, you just pay whatever it takes, and then like Torment of Hailfire. But Torment of Hailfire automatically casts for like 30 because of all the zombies, and then whatever else you pumped into it and whatever creatures are left after the other turn. Like, you could Torment of Hailfire a board for like 55 or something on like after 2 turns after Witherbloom with like no mana or something. That's, again, magical Christmas land. That doesn't happen. But like, there has to be some X spells in black or green, but that just make like a million dudes. And that's all I want for this commander. Now to open this card, yeah. Honestly, I'd probably, if I was gonna make it, I don't know how much is Witherbloom on Star City currently going for. Let me check. Star City is a singles place. I'd probably just buy it in singles, but Witherbloom, the Balancer. How much is he currently going for? Probably a decent chunk, right? $30. So I'd probably just buy him for $30 and then build a commander deck around him. But again, I'm not very good at building commander decks. I usually just build, like, I do play commander. I play it with my family occasionally. My husband, his mom, and his dad. We all play it together, but we tend to just play, like, precons. I have made a deck I made one deck for his dad, who's a big Spider-Man fan. So I tried to make him a Spider-Man deck from the Amazing Spider-Man. So the Peter Parker to Amazing Spider-Man, on the Amazing Spider-Man's cards side, it says like all legendary spells cost 3 mana if you bounce a creature back to your hand, a tapped creature. So the whole deck is like, I 95% precons, so have fun. Yeah. Try my first hand at custom now. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really play enough commander. And I don't really care about the meta or making a powerful deck. I want to make something synergistic and goofy. So, like, for the Spider-Man deck, again, Kevin, you probably won't know, but there's some really old cards called the Margin. They're like Margin of Life's Web, Margin of Cleansing Fire, Margin of something. They're like really old cards, and they're like 10 mana for these cards that come in with indestructible counters, and you can take the indestructible counter off, and it does something bananas. Like, the white one is a board wipe. The green one puts all creature cards from your hand into play. The blue one draws cards for however many permanents you have on the field, right? And I've got them in this Spider-Man deck because if he bounces like a cheap creature, he can play it for 3 instead of the 10, and then keep the indestructibility counter on it. Also, hello sorry, what was the name? Subatomic? My bad. Sorry, give me a second. I'll extend the thing. Subatomic Surfer, thank you very much for the follow. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. But yeah, they come in for 3 mana if he bounces any cheap creature. And then he can attack with them because they've got an indestructibility counter. And then he can remove the indestructibility counter to do their huge, giant, whatever the bomb-ass move is. Whatever they want to do. And then you can just pay 3 mana, bounce it back to your hand, play something else. Because you've still got the Amazing Spider-Man on the field. And it's a tapped creature now. Right? So, like, the deck is not good. The deck is not good. But there is occasionally the time where on turn 3 or 4, he plays the Margin of Life's Web or whatever, and then removes the indestructibility counter, plays his entire hand of like 10 cost bomb creatures, and we all go, anyone got a board wipe? No board wipe? Concede. Right? It's hilarious. And that's the first deck I've ever really made for Commander, and it makes me very happy that it does occasionally do that. Might be quiet because I'm working on a project to do with card games. I thought I'd come because someone who only plays. I love hearing talk about card games. We're doing Magic, so we're not doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, but I always love talking to people, and card games I love, so, well, Magic I love. Other card games are just not Magic, which is unfortunate for them. But yeah, I would very much like to try and make a Witherbloom deck. Maybe I'll wait and see if he becomes cheaper after the set comes out. But I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I love this card. This card makes me happy in all of the good places.